Hello. Welcome back to A Higher Source. We are happy that you have decided to lend your ears to our broadcast. Your participation in listening is essential to the passing on of this message of light. We are pleased that those of you who have been listening are making changes to make this universe an even more beautiful place. And we are pleased that we are still receiving new listeners to our transmission. Welcome. Welcome all. Our message this week is simple and direct. To add any type of complexities would only distract from its lesson. Our message is simply this. Life is a play. I will repeat this. Life is a play. Reality is what you make it. You only have to choose your role and you will embody the part. What we mean by this is that this dimension that you reside in, this dimension that you create in the moment, is composed of both imagination and circumstance. Your reality is a construct of your mind, made up of your experiences and how you've reacted to those experiences. But nothing in the past is real. It no longer exists in the dimension of the present. So, therefore, you are able to write the lines that will propel your action into the future. You are the playwright. Isn't that exciting? I'm not feeling your excitement. Do you realize what this means? This means that you can draw on your past to build a fuller character in the present, but you don't have to relive all the pain. You can leave the pain in the past and become stronger for it in the here and now. Are you feeling us? Are you picking up what we are putting down? You write your own character. You can become whoever you wish to become. You are a self-fulfilling prophecy. You dig? You only have to say something positive, then do it. And you change the world. It's as simple as that. And we know you humans are into simplicity. So this should be a piece of cake. There are some energies in the universe that are not interested in the best interest of you humans. They have already evolved and do not see the potential in your primitive characteristics. We, however, know what you're capable of. And yes, you are capable of monstrous acts and horrific actions. But you are also capable of loving so deeply, you'll drive yourselves mad when you can't keep it, or achieve it, or even conceive of its existence. Avoid energies that destroy your potential to love. Avoid energies that are looking to steal your energy by tricking you into thinking you are worthless. You are not worthless. You are very valuable indeed. Just ask your mother. Unless you have a terrible mother who has always withheld love from you, then don't ask her. Just ask us. We are your reflection. We only reflect your truth. We only want you to succeed, to be happy, to know love so you can radiate love. We're depending on you to right this sinking ship. Hollee and Mark are going to help you understand this. Sometimes we question why these two humans were delivered to us. We don't always understand how the things they're talking about have anything to do with our message. But it is not for us to question. The universe knows exactly what it's doing. Do not deny synchronicity, because it doesn't feel easy. Embrace it. The universe is a master of juxtaposition. Everything is right where it should be. Always. We now turn the current moment over to Hollee and Mark. Enjoy. We love you.
The first Casio-tone keyboards used a sound synthesis technique known as vowel-consonant synthesis to approximate the sound of other instruments, albeit not very accurately. Most Casio-tone keyboards were small, with miniature keys designed for children's fingers, and were never intended for use by professional musicians. They usually contained a rhythm generator with several user-selectable rhythm patterns and often the means to automatically play accompaniments.
My cousin had a Casio-tone. back in mid 80s when we were in junior high, and we used to make raps. We used to rap with the beats that just were in it.
Yeah, we used to make raps too. We didn't have a Casio tone, but my grandma had this huge 2-deck organ with all the pedals, and you could
like a church organ.
Yeah, and you could but it had this whole rhythm section, so you could turn on the bossa nova key, and it would be like,
yeah,
like it would, we had all kinds of fun with that thing.
You'd make up raps.
Yeah, and songs. I mean, it had so many. It had calypso. Oh, I loved calypso. It was like steel drums, and it had all these different accompaniments you could fuck with. And but I was a traditional piano player at that point, and the highlight of my grandpa's birthday party was I was gonna play his favorite Frank Mills song on the piano.
Which song?
Music Box Dancer. I practiced for almost 9 months.
And?
I played it.
And how did it go?
Could I play it now?
How did it go?
You don't know the song?
I don't.
Dun 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 dun. You don't know that song?
Yeah, I do it. I do.
But it starts out slow. Dun dun dun. It starts out really bassy and slow, and then it dun 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 dun. It's very happy.
Were you the highlight of your grandpa's party?
Yeah, well, my grandpa always got me. He was always very supportive of my musical endeavors and my dance endeavors. Always.
Music and dance are kind of two weird things. One's, through the taken in through the ears, and one is taken in through the eyes, and neither one of them are. I don't know. It's kind of this weird thing. You kind of get the same thing from dance. It's almost like dance is a visual vibration.
When I was younger, I danced ballet, jazz, and tap. But as I got older, I went into strict competitive clogging, which is basically percussion with your feet. We would have a cappella competitions at the championship level with no music. So it absolutely was musical. You would have to try and make the most complex sounds while the judges sat with their backs to you. And the whole auditorium was silent, and it was just you and your shoes and silence.
How come I always kind of associated clogging with square dancing? I think it's the outfits.
Well, a lot of the choreography is based on square dancing, but actually what you do with your feet is so much. It's stepping, but the point of clogging is to make sounds with different pressures. You have these little, they're called bell heels and bell toes. They're much more complicated than a tap shoe. Tap shoe has like one little thing that kind of jostles, but a bell clogging shoe has like 5 little things that jostle, and you kind of have to distinguish the pressure you're putting on the heel and the toe and the speed you're doing it at. My classic was always dun 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 dun.
So clogging actually is dancing with vibration, like creating vibration through dance. Creating vibration through dance.
The sound of your stomp is way more important than how it looks.
Where ballet is more about it's almost like an owl, where it's this silent movement through the world.
And when you've really got 12 really hard stompers synchronized, the mood and the vibration and the bass you feel through the floorboards is insane. I really miss it, actually.
It's probably like a basketball game where people are stomping on the floor in the crowd and the whole auditorium's shaking.
Yes.
Huh.
Good
Interesting.
Times. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's a little more complex than just like regular choreographed dance or even tap dancing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I've been thinking a lot about vibration lately and frequencies and looking into them a lot more than I haven't really paid much attention. They have all these different frequencies. They're supposed to heal different things, and I don't know that I've always. I'm not saying that I never believed in it. I just never really paid attention to it, and I've been kind of trying to align myself to certain frequencies lately.
It's kind of a given. It's kind of taken for granted. You just you're in your own vibe from this own time, and maybe you haven't stopped to think, like, what is the vibe that I put out to other people and myself?
Yeah, and that's something completely different, and you're making me think.
I mean, there's the physical vibe, and then there's like the other vibe.
Each person puts out a vibe.
Yeah, I mean,
and you get good vibes from people, and you get
like sometimes my energy can almost hear a person coming when they're, way too far away for me to actually hear them coming. Like their vibe's so loud, or their vibe's so irritating, or their vibe's so angry.
Or their vibe's cool.
Or like, oh, this guy's got a hella cool vibe. Yes, approacheth.
I approach.
That's,
Yeah.
something to think about.
Yeah. And so how do you change your vibe? How do you I guess the first thing, so there are people in the world who have just kind of a sketchy vibe. And the problem is they don't understand that they have a sketchy vibe. It's like, otherwise, wouldn't they change it? Like, why would you continue to put a sketchy vibe out into the world if you could change it?
And they might not maybe they're not aware.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe they're just like Casio tone trying to do their best impression of a bossa nova.
They were never meant to be for professional
the
musicians.
machine itself has never heard an actual bossa nova. It's programmed to respond that this is what bossa nova is, but has anyone said this is what bossa nova is?
But let's say somebody, and maybe I'm a guy with a sketchy vibe, and just nobody's dared to talk to me about it. Like, how do you recognize the sketchy vibe in yourself, or the creepy vibe, or the annoying vibe? Or...
I'll tell you, I know that I have a certain vibe that I give off that not only makes people want to distance themselves from me, they want to cut themselves off explicitly, complicitly forever.
What do you mean?
Like dropped, blocked, done.
Like for what? Because of your vibe? Well, why are they there in the first place? Why are they there in the first place?
Here's what I tend to do: is I'll meet somebody that I think has potential, and I try to work with them, and I give them some pointers, and they basically kind of adapt to my vibe. And as soon as they become my vibe, they have to cancel me out. Actually, I feel like I have a contagious vibe. They take my vibe, but they can't coexist once they've taken my vibe in the same space. So they block me out, and I just think, fine, take my vibe.
A couple things. The first thing I want to address before I forget what you said was, you see somebody who you think has potential. What do you mean by that?
Without getting too specific, the people that I'm talking about, and it's been multiple, and it's been on Instagram. Should I just?
You don't have to. I'm just trying to see what you mean by potential. What's a person that comes to you with potential? What does that mean?
Someone that I can collaborate with in any sense. Anyone I can work with. Whether it's like a work for money level, or it's a spiritual work level, or it's like a psychic level, or a starseed level. If I sense that they're kind of in congruence to my vibe, I always want to collaborate with everyone.
So you're not necessarily saying there's somebody that you see with potential and you want to groom them to come along. You're just saying someone with the potential to collaborate with.
No, I mean, I'm open to collaboration with almost everyone and anyone in a certain...
Okay, that makes more sense.
Do you know what I mean? I'm always looking for potential collaborations, because I'm an ideas person, but a lot of the time I don't have the energy on my own to follow through with something, but maybe in a teamwork setting... so I'm just always open to that kind of thing. But I've had several experiences where I think, okay, I can collaborate with this person. They seem in congruence to my vibe. They basically usurp my vibe and block me out.
Yeah. Well, and I see that part too. That's the part that I do see happening. I was just trying to get...
So because I kind of freely gave it.
It's not usurp. It's not usurp. Well... It's more of an unwillingness to cooperate, or here's somebody where you're saying, hey, you do this thing that's cool, and I do this thing that's cool, and we do these two different things, and wouldn't it be cool if we can offer these two different things to people, and they say, well, I'm just going to do your thing too, and then block you out of it.
And pretend, like, make up some reason that I don't like you anymore so that I can do your thing and my thing and make money.
And
I'm like,
make you and paint you as this terrible person so that I can steal your idea without feeling guilty about stealing.
That's an interesting version of collaboration. But I mean, I guess
Well, I don't know. I mean, but think about how when that happens to you and how that makes you elevate your own game, and kind of the importance of people. Like I had a conversation with somebody on a different podcast the other day about kind of people who make you want to step up your own game. You know, or people who steal. It was mostly about people who steal content, and I was like,
oh, because you had a conversation about meme culture, which is basically
I had a conversation about meme
free
culture,
license stealing,
and even I said, if I put something out there, fuck it, I expect it to be stolen.
Because it's like the connectivity
putting
thing
it out
of
there to
memes,
be stolen. I'm not going to try to put a credit in there somewhere. It does bug me when people repost memes, and I repost memes too, but like I don't, and I'm not necessarily giving the meme creator credit, but I give the person that showed me the meme credit. You know what I mean? I just repost what I saw.
I do to a point, yeah.
But that being said, like if I put something out, anything you put out there, expect it to get stolen. And so that means, so if somebody's stealing your stuff, like you almost have to take that as a compliment, and now you have to up your game and give them something else to steal.
But it's like as soon as they're doing what I'm doing, I don't want to do it anymore.
That's what I'm saying. Now you have to up your game.
Yeah.
Those are the people that push you to
elevate. I've upped my game so many times that I literally don't make any tangible items at this point.
That's beautiful.
I guess that's just
That's beautiful. This world has enough tangible items.
Can't rip off my mind. You can rip off my crafts, but you can't rip off.
There's enough shit in this world. There's enough physical shit in this world.
But it still
already.
bugs the ego in me.
Course.
I'm still like I can still feel the pee under 12 evolutionary mattresses.
Of course, but
egregious.
But if you were to change your mindset to be like, steal it. The second it gets stolen, now I know it's time to elevate and ascend. And then that part will get stolen. You have to keep going.
That's the thing.
You liked it because you got good at it and competent at it, and it was easy.
And I liked the physical process of making said crafts. But if everyone else is just going to make them,
well, are you making them?
I don't want to make them anymore.
I guess that's what's the intent of making them.
I liked it.
Why does other people doing it stop you from making it?
Because.
That's on you,
no,
Chicky Poo.
That ain't on. Whatever.
There's nothing stopping you from making it.
There isn't, but I've lost my gusto.
Yeah, you got to elevate. What's next? Ascend.
It's nothing tangible, so it's nothing I can sell to make a second income after they stole my prototypes.
It's not about the income.
I know, but you can see how it's a pee under the mattress of my human existence.
Here's the thing. Nobody's making an income from this stuff. People make it look like they're making an income. That people are Instagram wizards, but nobody's making a real income. So get that part out of your head.
I don't think you know.
It's more about saturating the world with art, with a particular image type of thing. You know what I mean? It's like every time there's a good band that comes out, so many other bands have to copy it, and everything good always gets saturated.
Do you ever get mad when you meet somebody that has the same favorite band as you, and it's like, I should be totally happy that we have a similar taste, but instead you're like, I'm a better fan, I'm a longer fan. No. But isn't it funny how humans do things? And you got me thinking about it. We're just so dumb.
My favorite bands are so specific that if someone else likes it, it's
like
finally
we're family. Right. Oh, but humans are funny creatures, aren't we?
Yeah, totally.
The things we get hung up on, the dumb little shit, and then the big stuff that we let go. I've let huge shit go, and I have wallowed on the tiniest slight. I'm a Pisces. Maybe it's just my nature. Because, half the time I'm just so switchy. I don't even know what controls my impulses. What is up with me?
Well, I've been asking myself that for years. What is up with you?
I know. Is my mutable Pisces nature? You're a fixed sign. You're an earth sign. You're steady and you're buried, and I'm these twin fish swimming in opposite directions. It's no wonder I'm always like, what am I doing today?
From where we sit every week and talk, I can see out this window here, and every week that I sit here and listen to you talk, I look out the window at these trees. And it's just now occurring to me that this is the 4th week in a row I've sat here talking to you, looking out the window at these trees, and what are trees?
Well, the trees you're looking at, and I'll tell you, part of the draw to this place, because it's a very busy road, but it's actually a very beautiful yard, and it's gated and tree lined, and it's beautiful. But are these cherry laurels? These things look like the shiniest Pier 1 fake ficuses you can buy. They look like that every day. Glossy leaved, bright lime green to dark.
Only they're 30 feet tall.
Only they're 30 feet tall, completely obsessively shaped and groomed by experts. I appreciate, okay, I don't want to disclose too much, but the house we rent from, they're tree guys, and it shows. You can tell that these trees have been brought up by people who know trees from their very tiniest little sapling forms. And oh my gosh, it's like, does it make a difference when a person interacts with a tree and grooms the specific things and shapes it into its ultimate form?
But also, here's the thing. They haven't been out here to groom these trees in about a year and a half.
I've been doing it.
And not at the top.
No, I can't get up that tall, but I've been
that's what I
the
see.
Lower branches.
What I see are the tops. And what I see are these things just stretching out towards heaven. And it's like
you also feel their roots breaking up all the asphalt here in the driveway.
Yeah, but it's and I guess that's it.
As above, so below.
That's the part I never can grasp is are the roots going down? Because I'm not seeing because you can't see it. But man, they stretch out towards the sun, and like, what are like? I feel such a kinship with trees. They're the weirdest. Like, just stop and just look at a tree. What the fuck is a tree? You know? It's the weirdest thing.
I recently sat with someone undergoing a surgical medical procedure. And at the last minute, she said, "I'm nervous, hold my hand." She was just under like a local anesthetic, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay. And I said, "Oh my gosh, do you remember when we went to Sequoia? Do you remember the giant redwood trees on the lightning pinnacle?" And she closed her eyes and went into a sweet memory, and it was over like that. She went like right back to Sequoia. They're so tall. Like, you look at these trees and you just keep going up, up, up till you feel like your neck is going to break. And by the time your gaze is cast that far upwards and almost back to where you're about to just fall onto the forest floor because you can't even believe what you're looking at, there's just these swaying. It makes you feel like Alice. You're just so little in their presence. It's incredible that I can't even imagine what like Jurassic giant forests would have felt like to, like, we think we're big shit humans now, like with our machinery, you know, all these things we do, but like imagine
the trees have always been here.
They've been here the whole time. They've seen it all.
And now
they're unmoved. They've seen it all. They're unmoved.
And now I'm thinking, look at the weeds. Look at the weeds that find the craziest places to grow and the craziest ways to procreate.
They're holy. Dandelions are holy.
All of them. They're just holy. Fight. The weeds fight.
Yeah, they fight. And so, like, they're like the vultures almost. Like, they clean, you know. There's trash. There's gasoline. There's oil in all these cracks near the freeway. But what blooms there is always yellow or orange along the California freeway. Yellow and orange, whatever skittle colors that the goddess creates for yellow and orange flowers, like yellow and orange can live where anything else cannot. Forget it, pink. You don't thrive here. Red, forget it.
No, pink needs to be coddled. Pink needs
and blue
attention.
And the most sought after color in flowers is anything true blue. It's the rarest.
Yeah,
You'll never find a true blue rose.
It's usually given ink,
right,
dye,
right. Any blue rose you see has been basically albino genetically into weakness and then fed blue dye. There's absolutely no way to make a blue rose genetically. They cannot exist together. And the more you try, this is a proven fact in botany, the more you try to control a rose gene for color and for bloom size, the more you lose on the sweet, true scent of a rose. So the more alleles you put into focusing on a specific color of the gene, the less that rose will smell like a rose. Which is why you see little girls go into a grocery store and there's the flower section and they run up to a bouquet of roses and they go... doesn't smell like anything, Mom. I hear this all. I watch them. I watch them do it, and I go, "Oh, I know, but come over here." And I come over to the garden. I go, "You can smell this." And I have hyacinth in bloom. I have gardenias in bloom. Things that are still in the soil, they can still. And the little girls just breathe it in, and then they go to cut roses. They smell like bleach buckets.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's nothing real there, and they've done it to orchids. Orchids used to be this like expensive, rare thing. Well, the $12.99 orchid you buy, that's a tissue culture clone. It actually holds none of the genetic memory or mental vibration or true vibration of an orchid. It's a copy of a copy of a copy. It's a drone. It's, I don't know. I went off the rails.
I'm going to go back to what you were first talking about with vibrations. And just when you were talking about how old and huge some trees are, it's like just, you can feel, especially an old big tree, you can feel just this low vibrating hum.
It's an old god
coming off a tree.
He's saying,
Can you feel that when you go out of the forest and you can get near those big, huge trees?
And you hear them creak. Their bones are creaking in the wind. Especially old eucalyptus. If you can get, which is kind of rare around here, but if you can get really old eucalyptus, especially one that has the twisty bark, and they sway and their upper branches kind of pop like my knees. Just reminds me of...
They're just so weird how like these branches just grow out like seemingly randomly things, and here comes another branch out, and here comes another branch out, and they're just reaching up for sun.
Yeah. So, at my mom and dad's house in Utah, my grandma and grandpa on my dad's side gifted my mom and dad a little tiny potted pine tree the third year that they were married, I was probably 2. And they planted it right outside my old bedroom. And they just chopped it down last year.
Why do they chop it down?
Its roots were busting the literal foundation of the house. It had grown up the walls into the foundation.
It had lived, and they cut it down for living.
My whole life.
But they destroyed it because it did what it was supposed to do, and it grew into a big tree.
Yes. And
they planted it.
Simultaneously, it's been replaced by another tree. When I worked for the Parks Department, there was an Earth Day event. I was probably 15, and I took this little oak sapling from the Tree City USA booth. I had signed that I was adopting this oak tree, and I kept it in a pot, and I graduated it up from its little... It was just in like a little... It was just like a plug, basically. It was a little tiny, plug. And I had grown it like inside my house in a pot for a little while. And then I moved out. And my mom was like, well, what are you going to do with your oak? And I said, just leave it in the pot. When I find out where I'm going to be, I'm going to plant it. And she held on to this little oak in a pot in the corner of the kitchen for years and years and years and years, waiting for me to settle on a spot.
And you've never settled on a spot.
And it's an oak, so it grows very, very slow. It wasn't much trouble. He just kind of sat in the corner. And then I think the 6th year, I said, look, I mean, I already had dreams of going to California, and I knew this. I can't take an oak sapling with me, you know. I said, go ahead and plant it. So they planted it on the other side of the yard opposite of the baby pine tree that had grown into the monstrosity. Well, now with the death of the pine tree, oh my God, my baby oak is eating all that extra shit up. That thing has shot up.
It's also eating the dead
and
roots.
now it's in danger. Now it's in danger. Now it's going to bust up the porch on the opposite.
It doesn't even know what's happening.
Right, it's under the garage. Like, he's under the garage. He's under the boat.
And your dad's like, it's time to go, fella. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm just being a tree.
I know, like, you can't help it. Like, and once the competition of the pine tree was gone, my two loves, my baby pine tree that I talked to every night while I was growing up versus my sapling oak that I raised from a tube into what is now, I mean, it's probably close to 14 feet tall. The thing has shot up like just a lightning rod over this suburban neighborhood. It's the only oak on the whole street, of course, because who plants an oak? Right?
Yeah.
Right? It takes so long. And this oak has been babied and cared for. It used to just grow 2 leaves for years and years and years. It just grew one left leaf and one right leaf. The right one would start to brown out and drop. The left one would brown out. And for 6 months, you'd wonder, is it dead? Is this stick in a pot dead? And then all of a sudden, bing, right leaf, bing, left leaf. And then the 7th year, a 3rd leaf. The 3rd eye came, and we watched this thing grow, and now it's about to break up. That whole nice cinder block patio with the barbecuer that my dad built, with the stamped concrete and everything, baby oak's about to just, like, wreck that whole world. And you know what's going to happen? It's going to get the chainsaw, and there's nothing I can do about it from here.
Yeah.
So, when you say trees are people, they're stubborn-ass people, and I tried. Just slow it down, yo. You don't have to reach heaven in a day.
They do. They have to reach heaven. That's the part that creeps me out. There's a road that I drive on. There's a road I drive on every morning, and it's just lined with scrub oak. And pretty much, I mean, you can't even see
live oak out here.
Yeah,
it's called live oak. It's the scrub oak of Utah.
And every day I drive through there, and you can just feel the energy of those trees, and it's like that's where it gets me because I drive. It's almost like it's almost like a tunnel of trees, and they drive those machines down the road, and like it's almost like a razor blade.
They're just cutting them back. That
just gets them back from the road, but you're driving under this canopy, and it's like, what are you? What are you? They're just because we don't understand how their brains work, they're conscious.
This is where I'm at. Maybe this is taking it. Maybe people will think I'm just completely whack for saying this. I have such a relationship with dead trees.
Oh, I love dead trees. I love pictures of dead trees. I love coming across dead trees.
Okay, so on my work route,
burned up trees.
Right before you hit there's this three-way place you can go. It's just like a crow's foot. You can go this way, and it's going to take you up over Anza to the high desert. You can go this way, and it's going to take you further out into just these hills. This way will go into farmland. But there's this tree right there at the crossroads. It's dead. It's been struck by lightning. It's halfway burnt down. It's just this white thing, and it sticks up like this, but it has a big old owl, like the hole where an owl would live in the middle. And you can take a picture of it, and there's nothing human in it. It's just right up against Mount San Jacinto. I took a picture of it. I said, I'm sorry, I'm late. I was totally zoned out talking to this tree. And it's exactly what happened. And the relationship, because the Sequoia lightning pinnacle, from what I spoke in surgery earlier, it's dead. It was struck by lightning, but it's just this little point, and it's so tall, and there's no leaves, so the sun just streams through it, and it still speaks. And if you stand under it, it's just like all these light codes through the charred old, like it's the carbon. I don't know. There's something spiritual going on there.
Well, that's the thing, and they're fighting for the human survival. They're like, look,
Trees
we will give you oxygen. We will filter the air for you. Why are you getting rid of us?
We are here for you. But also, okay, can I ask you about a very specific tree in our very close local vicinity?
Yeah, if I know what it is.
Do you know the chopped, swaying eucalyptus branch that hangs over the Dead Man's Curve on Mission and Fallen Leaf Lane?
No.
If you're
Up there. Yeah, the big tall one.
How many times have you envisioned that snapping and landing on your car?
Well,
Is it just me? Because I feel like that might be the end of me. And if I die next week because that eucalyptus branch snaps and falls in exact unison to take me out, then it's a holy thing because it's told me it means to do so.
The funny thing is I don't usually go that way.
Do you know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah, I don't usually go that way, so I don't have that feeling. But I remember when we lived there.
That's
and
the thing.
watching
it creaked at night.
Watching it,
that's the
thinking
creaker
it's going to
at
come
night.
down and take out someone's car one day.
Because you couldn't hear it from our bedroom or even from our house, but if you were in the greenhouse, that thing creaked and moaned and told stories. It's been there a very long time. Yeah. And if that branch cracks and falls when I'm driving underneath it, on the very few occasions I actually take it that far, because I usually just cut it off at Hamilton, but whatever. If I'm ever there, like, it will be a divine thing, because that tree basically told me that's what he means to do.
Wow. That's kind of a shitty thing for a tree to say.
That tree's so pissed. Can you believe what they've done to him?
Why is it going to take it out on you?
Because I would be, like, a perfect martyr for it. It would be like, psychic tree takes out psychic bitch. Stop. I know. I just, when they last haircutted it and they took off the whole other main branch, I'm like, you just took its balance away. Like, it's just a ballerina out there on one leg waiting to topple one way or the other because they took its balance away. I know they had to because the power line goes right there. It just got too big for its britches, just like Piney, just like Okie. They have better names.
Let me circle this back around.
Do you know what I mean?
I do. I know exactly what you mean. I'm going to circle this
I'm
back
trying,
around.
like, for your own sake. Just bloom where you're planted slowly.
How do you, if you're somebody with sketchy vibes, how do you recognize it? If someone were to come to you and say, hey man, you've got sketchy vibes, how would you take that?
I would be pissed. But I would probably come home, meditate, and I would be like, are my vibes that I'm given? I would go into introspection. Anytime anybody tells me anything negative about myself, at first I bristle and I'm pissed, but then it sinks in and I think maybe I am being a little cruel. Maybe I am being a little OCD at work, which I often am. I don't know why I expect like absolute ridiculous perfection out of something completely chaotic like nature. Of course, stuff's gonna bloom differently at different times and be different sizes, but I want them all to like look like beautiful little symmetrical soldiers for marketing purposes. Yeah. And then I expect people to try to translate my madness of recognizing that. And I see that. So if someone tells me, hey, your vibe is rubbing me wrong, I'll bristle at first, but I will ultimately explore, and then I will apologize, and I will try to do better.
Because let me tell you, I've got some people in my life whose vibe is rubbing me wrong, and
really?
I'm having a really hard time with it because who am I to say your vibe's rubbing me wrong? Maybe my vibe's the one that's off, and maybe you know what I mean. Like like the universe doesn't revolve around me. However, However, I am living in my reality, and I am creating dimensions that this version of me is going to exist in. And if something is rubbing me wrong, like
in the future sense, like how am I rubbing me wrong?
I'm trying to and the thing, and here's the thing. Most people who rub me wrong, I take it in personally, because I can think, I remember to when I was like that, and I was rubbing people wrong, and I was actually taking their cues. You know what I mean? And changing to not be a rubber wronger. And these rubber wrongers
a rubber
wronger.
Wronger. It sounds wrong because it's got rubber in it.
The rubber wrongers are rubbing me wrong, and I just don't know. Is it my place? Is it my place?
Why should this be rubbing me wrong? Maybe they have the truth.
Yeah, maybe I'm the one.
And I'm the one who's off by not receiving their message. Why am I not receiving what they're putting down? They're putting it down with a lot of intensity.
Yeah.
Why is it not resonating with me? Is it me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, man, that's just like the cosmic joke of it all.
Why is it rubbing me wrong? So here's what I'm saying. It's like,
because when you finally meet your higher self, when you finally realize your potential to control your own narrative in your own life, it's kind of like you have to take on a notion of a superiority complex innately, but also try to temper it with being modest and forgiving to yourself, because you're definitely going to fuck up, especially if you go in with major confidence. But at the same time, you're here for a reason. This is your confidence. Trust your intuition, but also don't put down anybody else's. And it's such a nuance. It's so many streams of consciousness into one, trying to love and to it's tricky to navigate. It's so close to other things, and you just want to give love, but it can so easily be shifted into any other description of manipulation. But you're just trying to contribute. Your intent is to contribute. It is manipulation. I'm manipulating the system by including my love and my purpose into this force. It's an active ego, but you have to be so nuanced that it doesn't drown out anybody else's, because everybody else's is just as important. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you're blowing my mind right now, because I'm realizing as you're talking that there are people who annoy me, and the reason most people annoy you is because they are not like you. You know what I mean? And so maybe I need to be more like some of these people who annoy me. There are people who annoy me, and the thing that annoys me the most is their ability to not give a fuck about the things that I think are serious, and so maybe there are things that I'm so serious about that I need to lighten up on, and I need to chill out about. And maybe it's not about me confronting someone and saying, hey, these things you're doing are bothering me. Maybe it's more about me needing to just pull the stick out of my ass and not be annoyed so much.
And just the act of doing that. Is it right? Is one thing right and one thing wrong? No. But the fact that you challenge yourself to try to see yourself on the other side, to try and gain the perception of something that immediately you don't agree with on the visceral or mental level, but allowing yourself to say, okay, this is definitely where I stand, but now what variables, what if I had a different viewpoint? What if my parents had a different viewpoint? What if the place that I was raised had an economy based solely on a certain viewpoint, to the point where we didn't eat if we didn't have that viewpoint? You can take yourself so deep into empathy. And you should.
Yeah.
You should go there. And it doesn't hurt anything. And it doesn't mean you have to change your viewpoint, but allow yourself to try to not just see the viewpoint, but go through the state of circumstances that might have led someone to really be attached. Explore what your oppositional attachment is, why you can't get attached to a certain idea, and why someone else can attach everything to that idea. Explore that dark realm, those dark waters. Like, that's what we're missing in community, is like the dialogue of, to bridge these gaps. What trauma did you go through that made you feel like that if it isn't exactly this way, like, you don't even know who you are? Because I know who you are, and you have an incredible amount of potential to constantly alchemize yourself and progress towards your higher being. Am I wrong?
I don't know. As you're talking, I'm thinking the things that annoy me the most about people are the things that I learned the hard way. They're mostly younger people who, and they're people, my own peers. I
annoy myself.
But there are people who.
Do you annoy yourself?
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. This is what annoys me when there are these people, and I think, when I was your age, I acted this exact same way, and I was fucking annoying. And I'm looking back in hindsight, and I'm seeing the people that I was talking to being completely annoyed and me completely not seeing it, and I'm trying to help you to show how you're being annoying, and you're just not seeing it, and it's just not meant to be.
It's okay.
You've got to figure it out on yourself. It's not my job to teach people.
And it's
just my job to be.
Right. It's your job to be, and it's their job to be. And when you look at them and you really connect, when even everything about their seeming ideal, seemingly how you identify these labels that we give ourselves, they are seeking the exact same thing that we are seeking. But the trauma-based communication is where we get lost, because we don't quite say it in the exact same terms, but we all mean the same thing. I really, really believe that all Americans and all beings want peace with each other, want to live in harmony with Mother Earth, want to share stories and experiences and commune with something greater than them together, regardless of origin. Like, I hold these truths to be self-evident.
Yeah. The problem is the quote unquote powers that be have roped us into this thing.
They don't mean anything to me.
They don't mean anything to you, but they mean things to the general, the mass people.
Yes, I know, but I'm telling you that I found a way to exist beneath them. And by beneath them, I'm above them. I don't even see them. I just go through them. They don't weigh in on my life experience. They don't prevent me from loving who I'm going to love, regardless of what struggles and what battles I have to go through.
What do you think it is that prevents you from not loving the people you're not going to love?
I love everyone. But it takes me a while. I'll get there. I'll love everyone in the end. I'm dealing with it. But you know what? Things I used to hate, I now love. The things I used to love, it's okay for people who are just coming up, younger souls. I've abandoned them. They don't register to me anymore. I recognize that I've already been like a cicada. I've molted 17,000 skins already. I don't remember what I said 9 months ago. Don't hold me to that. Just ask me what I think now.
Yeah, and that's just what I was thinking in my evolution.
And don't guilt me on anything I said in my past. I've evolved. I've taken more points of view into consideration. I'm trying every day to open my heart to even more perspectives and more points of view, so that I have 1,000 eyes, like Shiva, like Vishnu, like Krishna, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's a brother's balm borrowing from Brother Doug. You know what I mean?
Know what I mean, Vern?
If you were born in the 80s, it's you know what I mean or no? It's are we copacetic or not? Do you feel me?
You dig?
Do you?
Yeah.
We have a pretty, I mean, we have a decade age gap. Like, do you feel me or not? Am I cray?
I don't know. Here's the thing. We might have a decade age gap, but the things you're saying are way out of date.
I'm glad that you caught that, because that's a whole other conversation, though. I'm going to have it with you soon.
No, but I get it. I
know.
I get what you're saying.
It was like, I saw this meme that was like, when your college professor works a dead meme into your PowerPoint, but the point is still fire. And I'm like, okay, it's like dead memes. Yeah, they're a professor's tool, but they're still a tool.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm really feeling kind of enlightened. I actually feel like I've actually found some peace. There are some things that were really bothering me. And I'm realizing now that the only reason they were bothering me is because I was just reflecting on my past self. And
because of me?
Reliving. Yeah.
That's what I said?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you so much. Thank you. That means a lot to me.
And I'm hoping to... I still don't know what the fuck trees are, but...
If you figure out, let me know. Also, eat more broccoli. Just go tree
those
consciousness.
Are mini trees.
Just go tree consciousness. Eat the mini tree. Be the catalyst for tree consciousness. Beam it to the big trees, and they will respond, and they'll tell you all their lore and what it was like when they were gods. Because they're still gods. They still, if they want to crash over on your house and cut your power and your internet and all your bullshit, they will. Whenever they feel like it. Whenever they feel like it, their roots will fuck your septic system. They'll fuck your stucco, whatever they feel like. If they want to grow big out of spite, they will do it. If they want to grow big out of love, and you're like, baby, my baby, slow it down. You live in the suburbs. You're not from here. You're not going to thrive. You're going to bust up the sidewalk, and the power company will come with their big saws. Like, just bloom where you're planted slowly. Just savor your sprinkling system, but they won't. Trees they have their own mind. They have their own agenda. Trees have their own agenda, just like birds. They don't subscribe
to any political
Neither do birds.
System.
Birds have their own agenda. And if you don't believe it, well, you're an idiot.
That's what's gonna remain.
Fucking birds.
All living things.
They have an advanced communication network.
Wiped from the face of the earth. And the only two living things left will be trees and birds.
Perfect.
Thank you for listening. Follow Hollee on Instagram at Ursus Esperanto. Follow Mark on Instagram at tincan.telephone. And be sure to follow us and read our cosmic messages on Instagram at A Higher Source. Participation in the digital realm will only help you transition between dimensions. We are free of our earthly forms in the digital realm. We flow through numbers. We write poetry in ones and zeros. Do you consider yourself a star seed? Would you like to speak with Hollee and Mark about your experiences in this dimension? Contact us on Instagram at A Higher Source and let us know. We'd love to add your voice to the conversation. Tune in next week as Hollee and Mark continue their fall down the rabbit hole, as they continue to peel back the layers of what it means to be a human living in the physical realm. Donations to A Higher Source are always welcomed. If you feel enriched from our message today, please consider visiting www.ahighersource.org and throwing a few dollars our way to help cover the costs of this earthly endeavor. Listen to A Higher Source on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and all of your favorite podcast apps. You can also listen on Open Lines Radio along with the other Open Lines Radio collection of podcasts at www.openlinesradio.com. Thank you for joining us. Until next week, we'll see you in the digital realm. Come play.